So recently I made a video in which I covered the application of new rules for the vowels. Well, I'm going to make minor changes to them, starting with the vowels E and U. I stated before that English would be easier to teach if the spelling structure of every word reflected how they were pronounced. With that being said, the first change will be to the letter E. I had suggested doubling this letter to reflect how you pronounce it, but then I came to realize it would make spelling more of a hassle than it already is. So instead of doubling up, it would be better to adopt accent marks, specifically two dots across the top of it to represent it being pronounced as part of a word in which there are two E's or when there is a Y in its place, such as in words like free and day. For example, MET spells met, but if you add accent marks to the E, you would then pronounce it as meat. I'd also say this should be presented in the book of ABCs next to an E without the accent marks, reflecting a difference of pronunciation given presentation. The letter U should adopt the same change, placing two dots across when pronounced at its deepest pitch. However, this letter is unique in that it has, not two, but three different ways you can pronounce it. A few examples are RUT, which spells rut, PUT, which spells put, and VACUUM, which spells vacuum. Side note, the C in this word should be replaced with K. If you've seen this video, then you'll know why. The first two have the same spelling structure of consonant, vowel, consonant, and yet the U in both is pronounced differently. And the last one actually reflects the sound the letter U in isolation makes. With this being the case, there should be a way to represent these audible differences. The U in rut, for example, should be left as is, but if you were to add the two-dot accent mark, you would then pronounce it as root. Same accent mark should be applied to the word vacuum due to the pronunciation. However, the U in put should adopt the accent mark of an arrow above it to suggest a slightly higher pitch, but not the highest. Additionally, the word vacuum should have a Y before the U, given how it is pronounced, but that's neither here nor there. On the other hand, when it comes to the vowels A and I would revise the rule of the silent E in respect to them, given you can hear the E sound in both, either when isolated or when in certain words. In presentation, to the right of them, I would place E in parenthesis with accent marks to represent the need for it, when the main letter is pronounced, resulting in the addition of the E sound. For example, HAT spells hat and SIT spells sit. But if you add E with accent marks between the A and T of hat and the I and T of sit, you then pronounce them as hate and sight. Same condition for A and I can be applied to the letter O, for which I would have the letter U adopt the effects of the revised rule of the silent E, since it's subject to a similar pronunciation issue but with U. So go, for example, would have U added at the end with the two-dot accent mark, reflecting that deep pitch. I would also make similar changes regarding presentation for the same reasons. Anyway, those are the final changes. Share what you think in the comment section.